Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining our candidate forum for those seeking election or re-election soon to Franklin's Board of Mayor and Alderman, or BOMA. I'm Diane Chenard, a volunteer on the board of the Williamson County Republican Party. It's our pleasure to host this forum as we did in 2023. May I remind you that BOMA elections are nonpartisan. We have therefore invited all candidates, regardless of party affiliation. As part of our board's commitment when elected, we aim to empower citizens to participate in their local government. Accordingly, we planned this event as a public service to inform you before you go to the polls next week. I wish to thank our members who submitted forum questions, including former County Commissioner Mrs. Kathy Danner, Mrs. Janet Curtis, WCRP board member Mr. Courtney Lajeunesse, County Commissioner Bill Petty, and Mr. James Turner. You'll hear tonight from 4 of the 7 candidates for BOMA. The others send their regrets, citing work and personal obligations. Mrs. Janet Curtis is our moderator this evening. She has lived in Franklin City proper and its unincorporated areas for 35 years. She is a respected community leader who avidly follows BOMA, our county commission, and our state general assembly. Janet embraces her duty as a citizen per our state constitution to inform her elected officials. We are pleased to have her service this evening.
Thank you, Diane, for that kind introduction. I am thrilled to be here. To the candidates, thank you for being here tonight. Alderman for Ward 4 seat, we have Rodney Taylor running against incumbent Alderman Patrick Brown. So, okay, let's get started with question 1. Baggett. I'm sorry. I apologize. I owe you an apology. Sorry.
No worries.
We are going to start with Alderman Baggett. Your first question is briefly summarize your background and why you are running for office.
Good evening, friends. My name is Patrick Baggett, and I'm honored to serve as your alderman for the 4th Ward. I'm a husband, a father to 3 daughters, small business owner here in Franklin, and like many of you, I chose to put down roots here because this city is truly one of the most special places in America. 4 years ago, I stepped forward to serve as alderman, and since then I've worked hard with my colleagues and with you, the citizens, to make measurable progress on the issues that matter most to all of us. We slowed residential approvals over the last 4 years. We've raised impact fees on development so it pays its own way, and we've required 70% open space in our rural areas, concrete steps to preserve Franklin's character while managing growth responsibly. At the heart of everything I've done, in addition to this, there's preservation, public safety, and I would appreciate your vote. The time is now up. Thank you.
My name is Rodney Taylor. I have lived here in Franklin for almost 20 years now. My wife and I lived here at a time prior to that, and at that particular moment we said we were going to retire here, and that's exactly what we did. She passed away in 2022. I'm retired, so I have plenty of time to work on all the matters that come before the Board of Aldermen. I'm active at Brentwood Baptist Church, very active because I do several things. And I want to bring solutions to the issues of the city of Franklin. And I really think I have those solutions in a very planned way. So I look forward to serving you as your alderman over the next 4 years.
First question, starting with Alderman Baggett. Briefly summarize your background and why you are running.
Briefly describe my background. I grew up in Alabama, Decatur, Alabama, married a Franklin native, moved here in 2010, and started an insurance business 4 years ago while running for office. Wouldn't recommend it. It wasn't the plan, but that's sometimes the Lord gives you those opportunities. I'm running for alderman because we have a lot that we need to do. We need to plan for for what we need and protect what we cherish. Over the last 4 years, I've done just that. Protecting what we cherish is our preservation. More preservation has been done over the last 4 years in the city of Franklin than the last 20 years. We've reclaimed battlefield. We've opened up open space inside the Macatcher Loop, and we have done things that is protecting the character of Franklin. Finally, I want to make sure that our budget is financially sustainable for the long term, and the infrastructure and road investment does not get behind any further, and that we can solve the problem of the TDOT road crisis in Franklin. Thank you.
Dr. Taylor, same question.
Thank you. When my wife and I came here almost 20 years ago, we were like living in a Hallmark movie. And I'm watching over these 20 years, I have watched my beloved city become almost an urban metropolis. And that's a shame. Because with urban metropolis, we lose that charm, we lose that character for which so many of you have moved to Franklin. We're in the process of losing it, and we're losing it more rapidly than we should. I'm here to propose solutions to those issues that are taking away what is taking, for us, our charm away from our town. We are no longer the agricultural center of Tennessee. We have become the 7th largest city in the state of Tennessee. I'm here to change that.
What is your political philosophy, and how has that spurred your interest in public service? Dr. Taylor?
Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives once said, all politics is local. And by that, he simply meant that a politician needs to be with his people. He needs to listen to his people locally, his constituency. Now, beloved, your voice is not being heard. That's why my slogan is your voice, your values, your Franklin. Because my intent is to bring integrity, honesty, openness, transparency, which I don't think you're getting right now, to this position. What I say I will do, and I will hear you more than I will hear myself. I'm only one voice in Ward 4, just one. I want to represent, we are, after all, a representative constitutional republic. And as a representative, I represent you, and I want to continue to do that.
Ready?
Yes.
The question was related to political philosophy and how that applies to being an alderman. And I tell you, I appreciate the words that were spoken, but you don't know until you're in it, and you're getting the hundreds and thousands of emails from people, and you know that you're not just serving to talk and identify problems and to be the loudest voice in the room. You're there to serve people. My political philosophy for serving as the alderman, the only reason that I'm serving as the alderman for the 4th Ward, is because I want to help people. I want to help our city. And I've done it. I've done it in the things I'm passionate about, which is preservation. I've done it in the things I'm passionate about, which is making sure that we have a fiscally sustainable city. And I've done it because I just like to help my neighbors. And if that's not the political philosophy of anyone that is seeking this office primarily, they don't need to be in office. And that is what has guided me over the last 4 years, and it's going to guide me for the next 4.
Name 2 things that differentiate you from your direct opponent, and we will start with Dr. Taylor.
Well, one is that at the very beginning, I just mentioned earlier that your voice is not being heard. I want your voice to be heard. The other is, and I don't want to disparage, with all due respect to my opponent, he says that he has worked toward avoiding overdevelopment, and yet look at his voting record. His voting record shows that he has voted for every single development that has come before this board in the 4 years he's been here. That doesn't seem to me that you are dividing your attention to what you really need to analyze, because these developments, many of them controversial, the board simply did not listen to what you as a constituency were trying to tell them.
So the 2 things that differentiate me between me and my opponent, first of all, is knowledge and experience of the job. in his response just now, said that I have voted for every single development that has come before me. I just sitting here just off the top of my head. Brownland, Haven at Cool Springs apartments, it was 700 apartments, voted against Ovation just last week. I think you were at the meeting. And so that just the knowledge of what we're doing in the city and making that night and telling you, the public, the truth. The second thing is that I have a community network. And I think a lot of times what you don't see when you watch BOMA is what's happening in the community. I've led major nonprofits, Franklin In Rotary, Franklin Tomorrow, Franklin's Charge. I've been involved in my church. And when I see a need in the community, I know I can pick up the phone and call that nonprofit. I can call that neighbor. I can call that person. I have been actively involved. My opponent, unfortunately, has not been involved in the community in Franklin like that. And I think the citizens will lose out if they don't have that kind of advocacy.
Okay, next question. What new ideas do you have for saving taxpayer dollars?
Thank you. We have saved, in fact, this year the budget is down 2.9%. We're always tightening the belt. But a couple of new things. Number one, reduced our debt that we have at the city. When we've done that, our debt rate we're doing that by paying cash on capital projects. When I came in the office, we were paying 50% cash on capital projects. We're now in this new CIP paying 70% cash on capital projects. That's going to save a tremendous amount of interest income over the long haul. Second, and I think the most meat in the city budget is in our capital investment plan. And that is a 10-year, $500-ish, $400 million plan that, remember, I told you we're paying 70% cash for. But I think if we deliver those projects quicker and more creatively than we have been doing, then I think we can save a lot of money in our budget and make that money go further. And that is something that was demonstrated in City Hall, which I'm sure we'll talk about more, where I advocated for alternative delivery methods. It's already saved us over $11 million in value engineering, and I look forward to doing and deploying that method in other things.
Thank you. And Dr. Taylor.
I don't know about you, but I have to live under a budget. And I plan that budget out at the beginning of every year. And I try not to veer away from the way that budget is unless we have unusual medical bills or something else. But apparently that doesn't work for government. I don't know what budget my opponent is talking about, because he, along with the other members of the Board of Mayor and Alderman, have amended the budget 4 times on the average every year since he took office. Now, my question is, why do you amend the budget? The budget he may be talking about that they balanced and reduced may be true. But by the time you add all the amendments to it, and the last amendment, by the way, had to do with increasing salaries of employees. Now, what of you as an employer would not know that you have employees who have a raise coming and don't build that into your budget?
Okay, next question. Please state 2 campaign promises you are making to this audience today, and we will start with Alderman Baggett.
I promise to, number one, always represent you. And that's what I've been doing for 4 years. Hundreds of people. They don't speak up on Facebook. They don't speak up on, but I've changed and touched lives in their specific situations. I'm going to keep doing that. The second thing is I'm always going to do what's best for Franklin. Period. No other special interest, whether it's a political party, whether it's a group from the county who doesn't like development, I don't care. I am going to listen to the residents of Ward 4. Residents of Ward 4. And I've done it. I've knocked on about 400 or 500 doors already, and there's more to come. And I'm listening directly, and I'll keep doing that, and I'll vote accordingly.
Dr. Taylor.
Planning is the key to everything as far as I'm concerned. Planning is the key to our infrastructure. It's the key to everything that Franklin has for its future. You may not be aware that the city of Franklin does not have a comprehensive city plan. I used to do these. By the way, I used to work for developers. That's why I know them so well. I will propose at my first meeting that we hire a consultant to do a comprehensive city plan. Now, they will tell you we have one called Envision Franklin, and we do. But Envision Franklin is a wish list. It is not a measurable kind of plan where I can say in 10 years we will have so much, in such a way, and we will have spent so much money. The second thing that I would do is I will require an impact study of every development like Aaron has proposed, but done by an independent third-party consultant, not hired by the developer.
Thank you. Next question. How can you make city governance more transparent to citizens? Dr. Taylor.
Well, to start with, I'm going to do maybe 4 things to make sure that people know what I'm doing. Number one, I want to produce a monthly newsletter that goes out to all of my constituency. I want them to understand what I'm doing, what's coming up before the board, what their feelings are about that. I will do a poll on controversial issues that come before the board. I want to do a poll of my constituency throughout Ward 4 to find out what their voice really is so that I can represent that before the board. Thirdly, I will use social media, and social media, as you know, is pretty popular today, to let people know how I have voted, how I feel about certain issues, and then ask them to respond to me through social media and let me know how they feel. And then finally, I'm going to give you a report of my actions. I'm going to let you know through either podcasts or newsletter how I voted on issues and then how you voted on issues in my polls so that I show that I have really and truly represented you.
Alderman Baggett.
That's a great idea, Aaron, and the city is working on something just like that. But I will tell you, this is something, I'm not going to tell you about the podcast I'm going to do or the social media or the newsletter. Like, we need to fix, if you're in this role, I'm here to fix it at a systemic level at the city. And I would tell you that me and other aldermen, we are talking seriously about communications reforms at the city so that we can get the messages and the details out. All the details that is already publicly available, but as you said, it was hard to reach on the website. We know that's an issue. It's better than a lot of other municipalities, but we got to do better. I wanted to circle back to what Mr. Taylor said about we don't have a comprehensive plan. Well, we do have a comprehensive plan. It's established in the Tennessee Code. It's linked to our zoning ordinance. And I think this is another reason why that other question, what experience, he won't actually ever get to vote for our comprehensive plan because that's a planning commission document and the board of mayor and alderman doesn't vote for it. So I think it's important. Experience matters. Knowing the solutions that are attainable matters.
We're going to go on to the next question. Is Franklin's governance bigger and more complex than it needs to be? Yes or no? And we will start with Dr. Taylor.
I don't know that it's too big. Based on some conversations that I've had with some people just today, actually, and yesterday, I think it's a bit complex and convoluted, and people have difficulty, as Aaron has said, finding information. We incurred a gentleman just yesterday that talked about how he was having an issue at his home, and he went to the city to talk with the city about that particular issue. He was told, you need to go to the developer. Well, he went to the developer. The developer said, well, you need to go to the city. When he goes back to the city, and the city says, you need to get an attorney. That's not an answer. That's not an answer. Our city needs to be responsive to what our people need and want.
Alderman Baggett.
Thank you for bringing up the housing approved, not yet built. When I came into office, that was 13,708 units, and now it's down to 10,800 units. We've reduced by 20% the housing that is approved but not yet built. We're at a Republican forum, and I would say this if I was a Democratic forum. Any government is too big to start with, all right? If you're not coming into this office with a mindset that, hey, maybe we need to cut and be more efficient and do this. It's not necessarily that we have to necessarily go Elon Musk on Franklin, although there's some principles that might apply here. But I think what we've done at Franklin is we've done it consistently over time, and we've not had the bloat of growth in city government that I've seen. In other words, we've become more efficient. We are using the same number of people picking up trash that we did 10 years ago. Number of people because of technology. And we need to find those ways to make our government more efficient.
Thank you. Next question. Regarding land development, would you impose a moratorium to address infrastructure concerns? And if yes, For how long? Alderman Baggett.
Yeah, so this has been talked about a lot by my opponent, and I will tell you that no, I'm not in favor of a moratorium. First of all, as soon as you pass a moratorium, here comes the caveats. So even starting with that kind of government mandate, which that's what it is, it's the local government mandating that property owners cannot bring forward legally allowable things to the city to develop their property. So I'm against government mandates. That's not where I start. So that's why we changed our land use plan to require 70% open space in the rural areas. That's why we raised impact fees on development by 300%. You claim that we are in the developer's pocket, is what you said. I've heard you say. We rate millions of dollars that we charged them for development impact fees over them. There were no friends among us that day. We raised, and that is going to you. And when we stop development, guess what we stop? Impact fees. Over $100 million in roads in our capital plan is paid by impact fees. And I'm not willing to stop cold turkey. Let's be smart like we've done.
Thank you. Dr. Taylor?
First of all, I can't let my opponent's statement go unresponded to. I think it was someone else responding to one of my statements that said it was in the developer's pockets. He has taken developer money, and that's public record. I just go to the record. I don't have to give it to you. As far as a moratorium is concerned, that's semantics. I've said planned development. If that means tapping the brake a bit right now until our infrastructure catches up through proper common sense budgeting, let our infrastructure catch up to our population where it stands today and where we can go a little bit beyond that, then I say tap the brakes a bit and let's do that. Let's get where we need to be and then allow planned growth to continue to make Franklin a better place to live.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Envision Franklin, a planning document, attempts to maintain the rural character prized by Franklin residents within zoning guidelines. Critics say these guidelines allow high-density housing and commercial development on land with flooding and other infrastructure problems. Should developers be able to use unbuildable land in their acreage calculations? Yes or no? And we will start with Alderman Baggett.
Yes or no? Is this a short round question, or is this a
kind of a short round? Because I know this can be
kind of a
very
short
long.
round. It is, and I'll tell you, this is an interesting question because I know this is how you feel, and so I think that I'm open to it. In fact, I was thinking about this honestly just the other day, and I was looking at a particular parcel, and I thought to myself, it was actually inside Matt Catcher, it's not up for development. I was just looking at it and like, what if we did something different here and maybe they could, so I'm open to that. But no, right now, what the plan states is that that is included. And that can be very substantial on some properties and very little on others. And so making a blanket policy change based off of one particular development that you might be concerned with, I don't think is good policy. We need to look at the whole and develop a policy that I think works for the whole city and then look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. Dr. Taylor.
Well, this is one where I think I can agree with my opponent. I think we need to preserve, to a great degree, our agricultural status and our agricultural character, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that we don't want to decrease the value of our land either. So I think I can certainly agree with Patrick about that, and we have at least one thing we agree on.
Oh, there's more.
Next question. How can Franklin manage its water needs for the future to ensure potable water supply meets the demand? Dr. Taylor.
I have been in contact with some leading water resources experts here in Middle Tennessee over the last couple of months. And I can tell you folks that we think traffic is bad. Franklin, quite frankly, is at a tipping point right now as far as water resources are concerned. If we do not get a handle on unrestrained development in our area, we're going to be a lot like Spring Hill and some of the other communities that are already putting restrictions on water resource usage. We don't really want that, but it's coming. If we do not do something about it and do it now, we can't wait. This will not wait. Probably the most critical issue that we actually have in the city of Franklin.
Thank you. Erin?
Dr. Taylor mentioned something that I was actually going to bring up myself, and that's the what's going on in Spring Hill. The overdevelopment that's going on in Spring Hill has caused a moratorium on developments because of how it's affecting the sewer. I don't believe voters want Franklin to turn into Spring Hill. And in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, we need to complete those comprehensive development impact studies that include not only traffic, but we need to know how they affect the sewer, the schools, utilities, first responders, the traffic. We need to know these things up front before we approve any new developments.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Baggett.
I think you've heard a lot of fear here, but this goes back to kind of that, what are the two things that differentiate you between your opponent, and it's the knowledge of the job. We've got a 2014, we did a integrated water resource plan. Plans out for the next 30 years, our water plans for the city. You don't have to guess. You don't have to be feared into thinking we're going to run out of water, because we've got a plan for it. You don't have to worry that we're going to turn like Spring Hill, because we've got a plan for it, and we've already initiated those steps. And this is why it's critical, folks, is because if we take the low-hanging, ear-tickling fear that you hear, and you make decisions for the future of your community based off that, we are actually going to end up in the place that you don't want to be. Look into our integrated water resource plan. We have two sources of water, the Harpeth Valley, we have the Harpeth River, and our new sewer treatment plant, when it's completed according to the plan, we'll put off 1 million gallons of water a day.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What are your views on low-income and workforce affordable housing? And we will start with Dr. Taylor.
It's interesting you'd ask that question, because I formulated a plan just today that involves about 6 or 7 elements that involve workforce housing. It involves a number of different aspects of planning that will put the government in private-public partnerships. It would also look at having set-asides, zoning involved. There are just a number of solutions that I have set forth, and I've not made these public. And I'll be very honest with you, part of the reason I have not made some of my solutions public is because they end up on the other side, and I don't really like that. So I really have a solution to this issue of workforce housing that I think is quite viable, but you'll have to wait to hear it.
Okay, thank you.
I have not taken anyone's campaign ideas. That's just absolutely ludicrous. But workforce housing, you don't have to wonder what we will do with workforce housing. We have approved the most number of workforce housing units over the last 4 years, and we've done it with very little, if any, government city funding. Prior to those 4 years, it was public-private partnership through commercial apartments and various things. And we did that without tax. Prior to that, affordable housing community had been coming to us and asking for dollars, millions of dollars, and it hadn't happened. And so we're now looking at those creative options. Workforce housing means something to me because a lot of my employees don't live here. And so we have in the city, they have to commute. We are risking of serious economic impact to our community if we don't figure out how to have attainable housing. And guess what? You can't do it with a moratorium. We have to figure out how to have attainable and affordable housing in Franklin, workforce housing, and do it creatively. There's a lot of ways to do it. Look at our record. We've done it over the last 4 years.
Next question. Do you support annexing non-contiguous parcels outside the city limits but within Franklin's urban growth boundaries? Yes or no? Alderman Baggett?
The fast round or not? This is not the fast.
We have not hit the
We have not hit the fast round. We have hit the fast round. What round do we find ourselves? We have not hit the lightning.
So this is 1
Is
minute, 60 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the first question in the lightning round.
Thank you.
So, yes.
This is not a
no.
lightning round type question, but I would not support that.
Okay,
I'm not going to support that.
okay, and, okay.
No.
Would you vote to approve the Harlan project, yes or no? And we'll start with Alderman Baggett.
I refuse. That is a matter that is before the board of the mayor and alderman. I have Harlan residents back here or adjacent to that
Okay.
understand. No, I think this is unfair that you've asked an elected representative how they will vote on a project that is currently being considered.
That's fine.
And okay, well, thank
I
you. All right.
appreciate that.
All right. Well, I just yes or no. is-
I appreciate that.
I say no.
Okay, Dr.
No.
Taylor? Okay, and Aaron?
No.
Okay. Would you vote to require that thorough fiscal impact studies accompany annexation requests? Yes or no?
Yes, independent.
Yes.
I agree with my opponent. Yes, independent.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with developers charging off their impact and infrastructure fee obligations to home buyers? Yes or no? Dr. Taylor?
No.
No.
This is another matter that's before the board.
Okay, I respect that.
Thank you.
I say yes because I don't want any builder to lose their money, right? If someone is able to afford, let them pay for it. They are getting the facilities, so they have to pay for it.
Okay, thank you. Would you support construction of an underground water pipeline from the Cumberland River in Nashville through Franklin to supply Murray County with potable water? Yes or no? Aaron?
No.
Alderman Baggett?
That is a loaded question. Someone in the audience said that. I am not certain of that, the laws regarding that and what authority we would have, but I would have concerns.
Okay.
Because it comes through different counties and it doesn't fall under city limits. It is based on what the Tennessee law has been written and the federal law, how to share your space. So
Okay. Thank you.
And I would have to agree with my opponent on this one.
Okay, thank you. The City Hall budget is exceeding its original estimate of $100 million. Continue to approve expenses over the $100 million? Yes or no? Alderman Baggett?
It is actually not over the $100 million budget, but
Okay.
the recent was 97. That's a no. I would not over the budget.
Okay, thank you. BK?
no, I don't agree with over budget. So I'm not for it.
Thank you. Dr. Taylor? And Aaron?
No.
Okay, thank you. Do license plate readers
Mhm.
increase public safety or infringe on privacy rights?
I am for it.
Okay. Dr. Taylor?
My statement would be a nice quote. He who has nothing to hide hides nothing.
Okay. Aaron?
They do infringe on privacy.
Okay. And Alderman Baggett?
We approved a first round of these, and I had a lot of questions on privacy, and I think those are in the current test run, and I would have lots of questions about how that data is stored, but no, I think they're very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Do you support BOMA spending city tax dollars to buy historic properties or giving voters that choice in a referendum? We'll start with Dr. Taylor.
Well, I'm all for referenda when they are appropriate. So I could support the referenda, but there are. This is not a yes/no answer. I agree with Patrick on that. We're a historical city, and there are just certain aspects of the city that need to be preserved. And let me just say here that I applaud Patrick for his work in preservation. That's one thing he really has accomplished during his time as an alderman.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that. And first time we met, we hit it off on history. I know you're a history buff too. I would not support a referendum on specific property purchases. I would want to take to the voters through a variety. I don't know that we can actually do a referendum in that capacity for a specific project. I know Brent was trying to do it, but I would like to have the public speak into a long-term, sustainable, budgetable, as Mr. Taylor has talked, budgetable spend on historic preservation. So these projects, as they come up, we have planned and predictable funds.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Should the city publicly apologize for infringing on Pastor Caccini's free speech rights at the 2023 Franklin Pride event in exchange for Pastor Caccini's offer to end his lawsuit for legal damages? Yes or no?
Ms. Curtis, it's a current. You just mentioned it's a current lawsuit. I can't talk about.
Okay,
And I have to vote on those things.
that's fine. I appreciate that.
So I can't talk about because I wasn't there at that particular situation.
Dr. Taylor?
My tendency would be yes, but I don't have all the facts, and I don't like to speak to something for which I do not have all the facts.
Okay. Next question. Would you have voted to allow Harlandale Farm to be used for the 2025 Franklin Pride event? Yes or no? Alderman Baggett.
Well, you don't have to ask me. I voted for it.
Okay, well, that's
Right.
fine. I wasn't there. I don't know. So I'm just asking what the list says. Thank you.
I was not involved.
Okay, so you're not saying yes or no at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Taylor?
I would have voted no.
Okay, and Erin?
I would have voted no.
Term limits for Franklin, Boma, Alderman, and Mayor. Yes or no? And then I added, how many terms?
Well, I am a very strong believer in term limits, period, for
Okay.
congressmen, senators. We already have them for presidents, and I think for aldermen, city councilmen, and anybody else that's an elected official, this is not a career. This is a public office, and when our country was originally established, it was established for citizen representation, and that's what I want. And for us, probably maybe 3 terms, that's 12 years, enough.
Thank you. Alderman Baggett.
I think Mr. Taylor has some good points there, and I do agree that after a certain period of time, maybe the effectiveness of someone diminishes. This is how I approach a lot of issues. I'm not a one person. By the way, we will not be the only vote. And it's designed to be a collective discussion, and you have to get citizen input. And so I'd be open to it, and I think 3 terms sounds about right. I mean, if you were going to do something. But that's a big change in our community dynamic, and that would certainly be worth more thought than a few seconds on a lightning round.
That's fine. Next question. Boma may now appoint non-residents to serve on city boards and commissions. Their findings influence Boma votes. Do you support reserving these for residents only? Yes or no? And we will start with Dr. Taylor.
Yes.
Erin?
Yes.
Again, I don't know what the problem. I mean, we have a non-city person, resident that's moderating today, and you bring tremendous value to the conversation. And so I think I have no problem limiting outside. You might have someone with some expertise that doesn't live inside the city limits, and you want that expertise on a particular commission, such as the Civil War Historic Commission, or where they have a specific skill set. On our core commissions, like Planning Commission and Historic Zoning, for sure, 100% need to live in the city, I would say. But for the other commissions, I think there's still value in residents that don't live in the city that can be on some of those other commissions, but limit it to the number. I think was probably what I would approach.
Okay, next question. Will you accept or have you accepted campaign contributions from builders, developers, or any service providers who stand to make financial gains? Yes or no? Alderman Baggett.
I am not accepting campaign contributions from developers that have projects that are coming before the city within the next 4 years to eliminate conflicts of interest. I'm also accepting donations from more preservationists, quite frankly, than I am, and friends and family than anyone that has any interest. But I want to not have the conflict of interest between someone that has a project coming before us. So no.
Okay. Alderman, Dr. Taylor,
I have not and will not.
okay. If a voter saw your primary voting record, would it show a pattern of party affiliation? If yes, which party, please? Republican, Democrat, or Independent? And I think we start with you, Alderman Baggett.
I'm not ashamed of my party voting record, but I will stand up for those up here that may not want to share that, because this is a nonpartisan race. It's
Okay.
public information, and I believe that that should be considered by the voter individually. And if other people want to share, that's fine. But I thought we weren't talking about those politics.
That's fine.
But it's been clear in my campaign how I vote.
We can,
I agree with Patrick. This is a nonpartisan race. I've even approached people when I've knocked on doors. I even had one person just simply ask me, well, what party are you with? And when I mentioned that, they closed the door. So I think it's important to understand this is a nonpartisan race. My registration, although we don't have registration in Tennessee, but my registration is public knowledge, and yet that can be found out. So,
okay. And Aaron?
I agree. This is a nonpartisan race. We should be able to communicate with anyone no matter what their political leanings are. And I pride myself on being open and honest and able to reach anyone and relate to anyone based on being open and honest.
Provide a one-word answer to define your campaign, and we'll start with BK.
Honesty.
Okay.
integrity.
Transparency.
Service.
Thank you. Okay. Candidates, we are now at the 3-minute closing remarks. Each of you can rebut any answer or provide closing remarks. And we will start with, who did we go off with? BK, so we will start with Dr. Taylor.
I didn't bring notes tonight. I did bring some record references. And my opponent mentioned that he had not voted for a bunch of developments that had come before the board. Let me read the ones. This is directly off of the minutes of the Board of Mayor and Alderman. I do not have the dates, but I do have them at home in my notes. Middle 8, he voted for that, August 22, 2023. Magnolia Hall, Haven at Cool Springs, Legends View at Franklin, Brownland Farm, The Cottages, 555 Franklin Road, Optima Franklin, Aspen Grove, Novara, My Friend's Home, Mount Hope Subdivision, Goose Creek Bypass, Preserve at Sheridan, just to name a few. Not all of them, but that's by and large most of them. So he has voted for these developments. They're on the record. And let me tell you what I'm going to do. I conceived this idea about a week and a half ago, and then now people have started falling into my lap. I don't exactly understand how the Lord has done this to me, but it happened. I want to put together an advisory group. Now, Patrick mentioned that it would be okay if we brought people in from out of the city to sit on certain committees or commissions as a part of the city that were not. I think he mentioned 2 that we ought to have city people on. Advisory groups are wonderful, and that's where you can bring the people in from outside of the city. But the people who are making the decisions, I believe, need to be in the city. But I'm going to bring to me an advisory group in several different areas. I have a gentleman who is a retired traffic engineer, knows just about everything there is to know about traffic. I have a gentleman who is an expert in city management, bonding, you name it, city finance. He's agreed to sit on my advisory board to help me in understanding and looking at issues that come before the board in city finance. I have other people who are looking at emergency services, schools, roads and road construction. All of these advisors I'm bringing that they're going to help me to make informed decisions, bring that information to you as a constituency so that when I do come before the board, you will know the reasons why I vote the way I do, and it will be based on what you think, based on what you understand from my advisory group.
You know, I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to choose to be positive. I believe we live in the greatest city in Tennessee. We live in the greatest state in America. And that by and large, when you talk to people on the street and when you're knocking on doors and you're listening to the heart and what people want, which is what you're talking about, they have concerns about the future of Franklin. Your current board of mayor and aldermen know that. I know that. My approach is significantly different in this race than the options before you, because I put the work in over the last 15 years in the nonprofit community where I've led, the business community where I've started a successful business, the government sector, obviously serving as alderman, and at my church. I've actually voted in city elections. I have given back and expected nothing in return. You see, it's easy and encouraged sometimes today to be negative and to identify problems without solutions. And what you've heard tonight are, frankly, you can't even, unless we had a go back and forth, but there are so many things on that development list that they're just not right. I didn't vote for Brownland. That literally was the biggest vote probably in Franklin's history, the first quarter. And there's others like that. I'm just specifically mentioning that one. And I don't think that's very honest to call out something that isn't true. And so I really would encourage you. I know that's not who you are. And I do think that could be an oversight on that list. And I'm happy to talk through that list with you. We didn't talk about public safety. The role of government, local government, is to first and foremost keep us safe. The Franklin firefighters have endorsed me because of my support of public safety. The police officers support me. We didn't talk hardly at all about roads and the $300 million that we just voted in infrastructure. We didn't talk about Mac Hatcher and the TDOT partnership program that we're working on. We didn't talk hardly at all about preservation. And guess what? Don't even have to have a referendum because everybody out there loves it. Now, so I'm against the referendum on that. That's a no. Because they have, every feedback has been great on that, and we need to find more. It's a real choice that we have here. And the choice is, in my opinion, looking at the positive way forward. We live in a wonderful town. We have issues we need to fix, and you need to vote for somebody that knows how to fix them and will fix them and has fixed them to date, but we're not done. And there's a lot more work to do. And I look forward to doing that with your vote. I'm Patrick Baggett, and I would appreciate your support.
Audience, can we thank our moderator and our candidates for coming out tonight? I think we'll leave with a better sense of what each candidate believes and have more informed votes when voting starts next week. It actually starts on Wednesday, October the 8th. Early voting is through Thursday, October the 23rd, and Election Day is Tuesday, October 28th.